Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Hour of Power podcast. My name is Knighton, and as always, I'm joined by the lovely, the delectable, the delightful, and the beautiful Trey. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Every time you give me that intro, I think to myself, how lovely will this be on video when you can see the facial expressions that I'm making?
I can just hear the eye rolls,
No, no,
the
no, no,
face
no, no, no,
palms.
no. Maybe some weeks, I don't know. But when you just did it there, I closed my eyes and I kind of tilted my head back and forth every time you named the intro. Every time you said something, it was just it's kind of hard to explain. You'll see in the video. I'll do it again whenever we get the video thing started up.
Yeah, like I had stated in the pre-production, whenever that fucking happens, that's basically when we'll get the video. But first and foremost, we'd like to apologize for getting this episode out 3 days late. Had a little bit of an incident on Tuesday, which I got into a yelling match, lost my voice. I was like, okay, Wednesday, let's see what we can do. Nothing. I could barely speak. Thursday, could barely speak. Friday, Trey went out to dinner. I fell asleep. Plus,
I got home.
I was also severely intoxicated. So here we are. It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday, and you are slightly hungover.
Slightly. Let's see here. Went to bed about 10:30. Woke up at 3:30. And then proceeded to watch Elimination Chamber, and then went to work.
Oh, yeah, that was a very early show that happened this morning. I actually kind of spaced it out. Watched a little before my son's soccer game, and then when we got back, I worked on the little deck project I was telling you about, the redneck deck with pallets. And then I came back inside, watched the very end of it, and then I'm like, oh shit, we got to do this podcast.
So yeah, that was why I was like, come on, Trey, let's fucking go. I got nut cutting time here, pal.
Yeah. Well, what if and I hate to put you on the spot right here on the podcast, but I'm good with doing it since they dropped that episode on Tuesday, not at a certain time. They just drop it on there. I'm cool with always doing it on Tuesday nights if you're available.
That works a whole hell of a lot easier then.
Yeah, and then we get it knocked out, and everybody has their Hour of Power podcast either the day that episode comes out, that night anyways, or they have it that early Wednesday morning.
Why can we never figure this fucking shit out when we're actually trying to? That's the worst part. Is like
we need look. It's just me and you. That's the only people editing, putting together guests on occasion. You know what I'm saying? You're taking notes. You're doing a fuck ton of work. You're doing a lot more work than me. And I think that at a certain point, we could use a little bit of help, especially when we go to video, and we'll get that help. We've got plenty of people backing us. We got plenty of people fans of the podcast. I noticed the listenership went up a little bit this or last week, so that's cool. It might have been because we had Mims on there or Kara.
Why not both?
I would still love to have, when we do this new podcast, I would love to have Kara on as the very first guest because I've got some really good, juicy questions to ask her.
Oh, dear God.
Please yes. Don't. Oh, no, they're good. They're good. They're good. I promise you. You'll be like, oh, that's interesting.
I'm going to hold you to it, buddy. I'm going to hold you to it.
We're gonna absolutely drill her with questions, man. She's going to be like, never again am I ever coming back on this podcast.
Please don't. Please fucking don't.
We got the Hard Times tapings coming up. Dothan, Alabama, March 3rd. Going to be a big taping. Was going to be a pay-per-view. Is now a taping for CW. Also, before we start out this podcast, Knighton, there was big news dropped with Billy Corgan talking about the new reality show, the Backstage reality show coming out on the CW. Thoughts on this?
I haven't really been on social media much today, so could you please enlighten me, good sir?
Apparently, earlier this week, he gave an interview indicating that they're bringing another show to the CW app. I'm presuming on that one. That's why we need to have Kara on here. She can give us all the details on all that stuff, and we can talk about this. But I do have a little insider information, and I hope this person doesn't get aggravated with me. But I don't think it's too revealing. I'll just say this: that the reality show has been filmed for maybe like over a year now. They've been filming this and shopping it around, and he's talked about this. This is no huge surprise here, but I don't think he's ever really talked about how the fact that they've been filming this for a while now. So they've got plenty of content to go ahead and drop for it. So I expect that reality show to come out pretty soon once they get the editing done, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of reality show we get. Are we getting real reality? Or are we getting kind of a little bit of a scripted reality, which is fine as well, to make it a little bit more entertaining? If this is going to make me care about the characters even more, which normally these little side shows on backstage shows, I should say, uh, do tend to make me care about the characters even more, because you get to know who these people are in real life. I can't tell you how many times I've seen something kind of a behind the scenes documentary style thing for WWE, and it might have been somebody I didn't really care for because I'd read stuff about previously, and then I was like, man, this is a genuine person. This is a person I actually kind of care about, to see who, how their career goes at this point, and maybe we get that with this. That's what I'm hoping.
Hmm. I think that would definitely be interesting. I've always enjoyed those behind the scenes where you're like, you get to see the person, not just the gimmick or the character, but you get to see the genuine person. You're like, fuck, I actually kind of like them.
Right.
And
Right.
then once you start watching more of their stuff, their matches and interviews and whatnot, you're like, fuck, this is actually really good.
The only person that ever worked with me was Baron Corbin. I watched a documentary
I
piece on him, and he just seemed like he wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll get into this guy. So I'll start watching this a little bit more and more. And I'm like, this guy's a little bit entitled, and he didn't really like grow up liking the business like a lot of people that get into the business do. He's a former NFL football player, and I don't know. He's like probably the only piece I've ever watched where I was like, I still don't really like this guy.
Well, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
I've always enjoyed Baron Corbin, so
Right. Well, no, and to finish that off, like over the course of X amount of years, since he's been in WWE forever, I've really grown to like his stuff.
hmm,
As a matter of fact, I think he's a pretty damn well-rounded performer, and he's pretty good on the mic. He's kind of, he's done whatever they've gave with him. You know what I'm saying? Like the Happy Corbin and all that stuff like that.
mhm.
And it got to a point where it's like, man, he's got the same thing going for him that JBL did. I could not stand JBL back in the day. And when JBL left for a while, I was like, kind of miss him. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy, he's the only guy that could really draw that kind of heat from me. And I feel the same way about Corbin. It's like, damn, Corbin's doing something right.
Hmm.
It's not really go away heat. It's really, I just don't like this guy. And he plays that role well.
Well, I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see of when this becomes available, and who knows? Maybe we might even do a little bit of
Bit of a
a
review.
little bit of a review. There we go. Fucking English is hard sometimes, dude.
Yes, some days it is. I do the
Fuck.
on it, and then other days I fumble my words and I mix them together. I'm like, what are you doing? You're a complete mess.
Fuck. Saying that last sentence, I didn't know whether to scratch my watch or wind my ass.
I've never heard that one.
All right.
Well, before we, one more little tiny little thing.
God.
Before, okay. We will we are starting the new podcast pretty soon, folks. Sometimes we will have people fill in, and we're thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking Logan Frazier and Katie Rose would be great additions to help us out on occasions when stuff goes down and we need a replacement, or if we do start the reality show and we get stretched a little bit thin, it'd be nice to have those two as backups, because man, I was impressed with Katie's review when she came on, and Logan's always got a ton of experience in podcasting, so look for those two to jump aboard eventually. All right, that's it. I promise this time.
All right, well, let's dig right into the episode of Powerr that happened on Tuesday. This was a little interesting. I didn't hate the episode. I didn't mind it either. There were bits and pieces where I was like, okay. I.e. match number 1. While it was a very good match, the stipulation did not work. At least in my mind, I should say. At least in my mind, it didn't work.
And what I mean, why didn't it work for you?
So it's a 6-women tag,
Right.
3 on one side, 3 on the other, and the person to score the pinfall becomes the number 1 contender for the women's world title.
This rubbed me the wrong way too. I did not like this. Why would they be celebrating with her and helping her get the win? Her partners, like, we should have had some kind of dynamic where the partner would even come in and scoop up their own partner from the 6-man from getting the pinfall. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you
Kinda,
saw. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
you booked yourself in a corner a little bit, and I thought this made zero freaking sense. We've already seen certain talents pushed. I would like to see new girls pushed in this too, not to take anything away from her. But I will say it was a good match. I thought all 6 women worked their asses off.
Oh,
So
hell yeah. I
got to
agree
give
with.
them. I got to give them that. It was a good match, but I did not like the stipulation, and I didn't like the dynamic of that, and how the partners were all celebrating with her at the end. Yeah, you got the title shot, and we didn't.
So,
I just thought that was like, what?
yeah, if it wasn't for the stipulation, this actually would have been a fun match to watch. But the stimulation,
there you go again.
Jesus.
It's okay.
Oh no, you wanted me to keep everything in, so we're keeping everything in, pal.
Oh, we are. We definitely are.
So the stipulation was stuck in my head, and I was just like, ugh, if you want to do that, at least make it like a tornado tag.
Well, at first I thought it was a really cool stipulation. I'm like, okay, well then, like, let's see the partners break up the pinfalls. Everybody break up the pinfalls. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then get a really creative finish out of this, and where everybody was knocked down and somebody gets the pin or something along those lines. And we didn't really get that. Like I said, it's just the ending was like, it was fine, but I didn't understand why her partners would be so giddy for her, and the fact that they did not get a world title shot.
Yeah, and like, I will definitely say CJ was an unsung hero of this match.
She just seemed to work her ass off of that match, man. Like, she kind of shined in that match.
Granted, she did take majority of the ass whooping, but
No, she sold like a champ.
Oh god, yeah.
Right there, she's shown you before that she can work as a face, and then she showed you right there that she could work as a heel, because that's kind of the direction she was kind of teamed with heels, and she played a good heel. She was bumping all over the place for these women.
The part that drove me kind of nuts with this match, besides the stipulation, which at the time kind of drove me nuts, but thinking about it more and more after I've had time to think about it, it makes perfect sense. The constant tag out between Miss Star and Miss Kate, and just going back and forth. They do like one move, tag out, one move, tag out, one move, tag out, one move, tag out, one move, tag out. And then there's CJ just standing there like, hey, I'm here. Fucking tag me in. I want to pounce too. And then when all 3 of the faces get in the ring, That was when CJ gets tagged in and then proceeds to get triple drop kicked. I was like, well, that's rude.
She was bouncing all over the place. Hopefully, she was noticed. She can play a good heel role and babyface role if done right. I'm looking at, like, I follow her on Instagram, and I noticed she's kind of big shit everywhere she goes. Like in the indie scene, she's got several title belts. It feels like big matches booked for and indie events. I can't think of any of the indie promotions just right off the top of my head. This is stuff I kind of see in passing, but I'm like, man. And then I saw, or I see other stuff where she's doing like a backflip onto, three or four other girls in a match recently, and I'm like, man, let this girl shine. Like, you got a gold mine here.
Yeah, I would like to see CJ in more matches. Damn. After watching this episode and seeing this match, yeah, I get her in the ring, god damn it.
And hey, the girl that won,
Natalia Markova.
Natalia Markova. I'm just gonna call her Natalia. Okay, Natalia has been pushed before, and she had a huge feud with Camille, and she's just kind of been thrust in the limelight quite a bit. So I mean, I get pushing her. She's been there for a while. She's an excellent performer, by the way. I'm not taking
Oh
anything
god, yeah.
away from her. She is. I love her spin kicks. Are really, really brutal, and they look good. They you know what I'm saying, they look like they knocked the girl completely down on her ass when she hits it. So I'm not taking anything away from her. I mean, I'm fine with the result of her winning, but I'd also like to see, like I said, some of these younger women pushed. I would have preferred somebody else win the match, but because I've seen her in that main event picture before. But you got to go with what I guess sometimes too.
Yeah, plus I think it's just a new matchup as well. So, and I don't hate this matchup. I don't hate the matchup of Natalia Markova versus Kenzie Page. I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, it's an excellent match for sure.
So, but another spot that got me to giggle when CJ attempted to get the pin, but Taylor Rising was not the legal woman, and then Markova comes in for the drop kick and pins CJ and picks up the victory.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like Terra Rising might get the win here. She's kind of a big name they haven't done too much with lately. So again, like I thought maybe her, CJ, but Natalia as the winner here is going to be facing Kenzie Page. It's still a great matchup, even though the logic of the match was kind of silly.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But match number 2, and this was actually, I like the psychology of this one. Mecha Wolf versus Colby Carino with Homicide as the special guest referee for the NWA Junior Heavyweight title.
Oh, for Christ's
Dude,
sake.
Homicide. Come on, I'm going to give it up for Homicide. That man playing some mad mind games. I mean,
With both competitors.
Yeah, I mean, mostly Colby because of the history that the Carinos have with him. Putting the title on the shoulder instead of raising it up to show the fans, and Colby getting legitimately pissed off. Oh, that was great.
I thought this match was probably. Oh man, this might have been my match of the show. I thought they worked their asses off. I like the result. Homicide from time to time took away from the match. Now, if this results in a Homicide, Carino match, that's different. That could be very interesting. The announcers hinted at it. It was hinted at it in the bout, of course. But if we could get a Homicide and Carino match, whoo, I would be okay with that. But Homicide as a ref, I don't know.
Yeah, like his mind games, that's what got me, but his reffing skills. Oh, dear Lord.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
like the one pinfall attempt where he is not in position to see if a shoulder goes up, and he counts the 3 and goes, "It's only a 2 count." I'm like, bro, could have at least, gotten to a little bit of a better spot to where you could see the elbow or the shoulder come up. But Colby Carino having his 26th title defense honestly is impressive.
Very, very. I dig this guy. I would love to see Colby against EC3, man. I just think that this guy can work a good match with just about anybody on the roster. I think he probably had the match of the show at Salwin. And yeah, I love seeing this guy, man. Every time I know he's got a match on Powerr, I know I'm going to be entertained by the match.
Yeah, I couldn't I don't disagree with that.
Yes.
And this it kept me wanting, like, okay, is it going to end or is it going to continue? Please
Right.
continue. I mean, the stomp to Carino's arm, the pop-up power bomb from Mecha Wolf was phenomenal. Yeah, that was where Homicide wasn't in position for the pin. And
I
then
fucking put the heat on himself in that match.
yeah,
I was
kind of
like,
did.
well, I can't tell you how many times I've seen, two good performers go into a match with a special referee, and the match ends up being very lackluster because it's like all the heat is put on the special guest referee, and he garners all the attention, which I felt Homicide was doing at points in this match. It didn't ruin the match for me or anything, but like I said, I think it's kind of planting seeds for that matchup is what I'm kind of hoping. And if it's doing that, then it served its purpose. Carino still looks very, very strong, and he's got a new, a new opponent lined up, basically.
Mm-hmm. I'm not the world's biggest Homicide fan.
Right.
I didn't mind him when he was a part of LAX, but I don't know. I think Homicide just might need to hang the boots up. I mean, for Christ's sakes, he's probably been wrestling as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, he's been wrestling for a while.
So let's just put that in perspective. 25.
Still,
So
that's the matchup. If Colby Carino wins, it just makes him look even stronger. So I'm all for that match.
God damn it, you got me there.
We'll see what happens in Dothan, Alabama.
Although there's 2 other spots that I legit was cringing at because they looked brutal. The Hurricanrana towards the end of the match, and
that a little bit sloppy, but sometimes the sloppiness makes it look more real.
Yeah, it makes it look like, oh, hey, he landed on his neck. Ooh.
I just hate when it looks real, real choreographed. And I feel like NWA is probably the best promotion out there that doesn't do that. They're one of the few promotions that really doesn't do that. Even if you talk about Colby Carino's leap off the balcony in his match at Salwin, I just felt like that was a realistic leap. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a cartwheel in midair and just some crazy shit. It was just ran at the guy, leaped off of it, just leaped on him. Like you would see in an actual possible fight. So that's what I love about them. They're not bowling pins standing there waiting to get knocked down.
And then the suplex onto the exposed turnbuckle to finish the match.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Loved it. What a fucking move.
Move. As soon as it was hit, I literally put my palms up to my forehead and I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, I think I saw oh god. What was this? Roderick Strong do that for the first time I ever saw that done. And I was like, holy shit, what a move. And then here it was done and it looked real. It didn't look choreographed. It didn't look, just perfect. it looked sloppy, but it made it look real. And I
Mhm.
love the finish of that, and I love that finish.
Yeah,
That's
and both
anybody.
both competitors went in this match and came out of this match looking very, very good.
Exposed turnbuckle, yeah, just it played into it. That's the only way he was able to defeat him. This guy would not go down without a fight, and buddy, he just fucking drilled him at the end.
That's all she wrote, folks. So Colby Carino retains and gets his 26th title defense. Bravo, let's see if he can make it to 30.
Whoop whoop.
Don't
Dauphin,
start that shit.
Dauphin. He's going to Dauphin, Alabama.
All right, promo number 1. Daisy Kill and Talos. They want their chance at the US tag titles again, which I can get behind.
Absolutely, they've been booked strong. The guys work their ass off each and every time I see Talos. I'm like, man, the unlimited potential that this guy has with his size and the way he's able to move with his size. And then, Daisy Kills kind of complements him very well. And this is one of those tag teams I was like, this is like a makeshift tag team. I'm just not into this. When they were U.S. tag champions, and they've actually grew on me more since losing the U.S. tag team championship.
There are definitely a couple of those teams where you're like, I really don't give a shit about them when they're champs. But then when they don't have the titles, you're like, I actually kind of like them. There are some teams that are better off being the chasers than being the cup holders.
Yeah, and even though they're a heel tag team, they just I guess the fact that I've kind of dug the fact that they lost the tag belts and it wasn't like, all right, let's go off into singles or let's just keep moseying on or whatever. They're, letting it be known that they're still in the mix, that they still want that US tag titles. And I think, for some reason that match sounds very appealing with the Immortal going against them. I think that's a very good tag title match. Maybe that'll happen in Dauphin. And speaking of Dauphin, they haven't really announced any kind of big matches like they did for Paranoia. So I would expect something to be announced by this week.
Yeah, because I mean, they're getting what? It's March 2nd?
Yeah, that's not this coming up week, but it's next.
Yeah, so I mean, they're kind of getting to nut cutting time.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. They gotta that's actually I think that's next Saturday. Is it not?
Here, let me click real quick.
Let me see here.
Oh, let me see here. Yeah, next Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Maybe we get some matches this week.
I surely hope so.
If they'll
Otherwise,
better set up some great shit for down the line.
one can only hope, I guess, because we need to know. Hey, what's going on?
Right. Mims said something about addressing his title loss in Dauphin.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Well, there was so I'm a part of the Alliance Blogs Discord, and they were actually a couple of the people were commenting in regards to our last episode.
Mhm.
And one of the ideas that a dude brought up, I think would be very, very interesting to play off of.
What's that?
Connecting the fantasy booking dots, and it totally sounds like Mims is going to turn heel and be managed by Top Dollar or AJ Francis.
Wow.
That was the one that I was like, "Oh,
He is
that would be interesting."
just made his appearance in MLW last week, but I guess it's not an exclusive deal because I know he was scheduled to appear in Dauphin. So I'm thinking he's able to work in both promotions. So yeah, you could build something around him. He's a very good talker, very underrated talker.
Yeah, he is.
So I would be happy with that. I would rather see Kara manage.
I mean, don't get me wrong, so do I, but I mean, if AJ Francis is who they're going to go with, I don't hate that either.
Yeah, if it turns, but I don't, yeah, I guess so. Mims needs some help on the outside, man. I mean, he had James Mitchell to contend with as well in that match. So
Yeah, that is true.
I don't know. We're big Mims marks, so you know.
I
Oh,
do say.
this season premiere. Drop a little commercial right here in the middle of our Powerr podcast. The season premiere of JCP NWA is on YouTube. Look it up. I'm going to be doing some work with them, hopefully, in the next coming months. Definitely after April when I get some stuff cleared up. But yeah, I just made a match card for them recently. Best of Both Worlds that happened on February 9th. Definitely go out of your way to try to look up the show if you can. And yeah, I think Kara talked about it a little bit last week.
Yeah, but she didn't want to spoil too much, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
You know who the top champion is?
Isn't it Thrillbilly?
It is.
Yeah, because I had seen a clip of him getting the new
Yes.
title.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to extend the invitation to AJ from the Country Gentleman to come on the podcast and promote JCP, which he wrestles in, and of course NWA, which I know he's going to be a part of the Dothan, Alabama show.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to have AJ on?
You ain't gonna hear me fucking complain. I've always sang really good praises about AJ.
Right.
Despite what was it, the first or second episode, I screwed up the name of the country gentleman. I said the Southern gentleman.
Well, that's easy to do.
Yeah, but when you're trying to talk about people and you say one thing and it's the other, you kind of make yourself look like a ass. Granted, I don't need to try very hard to do that.
Well, I'll tell you what, AJ is one of those guys you don't want to piss off. He's like a big, thick dude. It's like if you're in a bar fight, you want this guy on your side.
Yeah. If you spill a drink on AJ, be like, listen, I'll buy you a new shirt, dude. Just
Yes,
please,
and
whatever you do, don't cave my skull in.
a couple of drinks. Please don't kill me.
Yeah. Because one fucking club to the head with that goddamn meat hawk,
Yeah.
the fist he's got, you might as well call the corner.
May even do a JCP review show on their season premiere. Season 4, like I said, just dropped on the YouTube page. All right, I'm done promoting that. We'll promote that at a later date. Let's continue on with the podcast.
All right, match number 3, because promo 1 just basically leads right into match number 3. Daisy Kill and Talos versus Rush Freeman and Slade with Rolando. All I have, or here's some of the notes I've got. Why does Daisy Kill remind me of a little bit of Brian Pillman circa 1996, 1997?
Definitely. Especially, just the erratic behavior, the hairstyle, even the body
The
looks.
hairstyle, the glasses, the
Glasses
vest, and the pants
and the
just
pants.
give me Brian Pillman vibes.
That's cool, though.
And
But he's
I
not
enjoy it.
too Brian Pillman-ish to me. Like, he's still his own, guy. He's
Yeah.
not straight up just copying Brian Pillman.
No. Brian Pillman, I would say, is often replicated but never duplicated.
As a fan of the Spectaculars, I was kind of hoping the Spectaculars would get the win here. They had some momentum going into this match a little bit, but they continued to book Talos and Kills really, really strong, like I said, and it kind of makes me dig the tag team more. And every time I get to see Talos more, I'm like, oh my God, this guy, like I just said earlier, has unlimited potential. I enjoy his work. And maybe even like a little singles push eventually.
Plus,
cool.
Talos also has a really, really good sense of humor. I know it's off the beaten path. I was on TikTok scrolling through out of pure boredom.
Right.
He and Caden Carter.
He what?
Him and Talos and Caden Carter from WWE are like really good friends, and they're constantly making TikToks together.
That's great. I'm gonna have to look that up. I need talk. I'm just stereotypical old fucking man.
And mostly it's Talos making fun of Caden's height. Because Caden's only like 5'2", and then there's Talos, who's like 7'2".
Yeah, that dude is so huge, man.
But
And if you could just like, you could make this guy go away for like a month or two and repackage him as just this like devastating force that just runs through people like Maxie and Paler a little bit. But then you also have Judias though there in the mix, who I'm still waiting for them to just like really just really push this guy to the moon.
mm-hmm. But off the start of the match, Rolando gets tossed like a rag doll, and then Rush goes right at Talos. I felt bad for Rush. Rush took a lot of the ass whooping in this match.
He did, but
what in the sheep shit and fuck?
What in the mother of God was that?
I don't know.
Was that a ghost?
Probably. I've been having some fucking weird shit happen in my fucking house as of late, but yeah, Rush taking an ass whooping, but he sold like $1 million.
He did, man. Like I said, he's got a really good look about him. Like, boy, wouldn't it have been cool to kind of see Rush go on this singles run where he's got a gimmick somewhat similar to Rick Rude? Could he pull it off because he's such a nice guy, or he comes off as a very nice guy? And then you have, little man in his corner cheering him on and doing dastardly deeds. I don't know where that leaves
Slade,
but I mean, he could just be the muscle behind, to help him out. And then, of course, they have tag matches and stuff. I'm just thinking, I'm kind of fantasy booking. I felt like these guys had some momentum going on with them. They had a strong story where they were searching for the next spectacular. They found this guy. He's a badass. They keep him. I think they got a tag win.
Yeah, they got one win.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys, Talos and Daisy Kills, do not have the belts. Would it have been, even if it was a faulty finish, meaning like there was some kind of interference or some kind of bullshit victory somehow, it would have been nice to see the Spectaculars get the win here.
I think at this rate, because they've already basically just planted the seeds that Daisy Kill and Talos are trying to go back after the U.S. tag titles. It wouldn't make sense to go, hey, we're going back after the U.S. tag titles. We've gone on this long victory stretch, and we're going to lose the Spectaculars. In my mind, that just doesn't work.
Maybe you don't even book the Spectaculars against them in the first place.
I mean, that would be the logical sense, but, fucking, it is what it is. Here's some definite high spots of the match. Rush was actually getting some very good counters in out of a lot of the grapples that Daisy Kill had on Rush. And then Rush then hitting a atomic drop to be able to get Slade tagged in. Slade was looking very, very smooth.
Yeah.
Rush then gets tagged back in and hits club to the arm of Daisy. Daisy gets at Slade, tries to get in his face, and Rush, I didn't notice this, Rush kind of veers over towards Talos with his back, and then Talos just starts wailing on Rush.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where the tide turns for them. Daisy Kill gets tagged back in, and those kicks to the chest just looked brutal, and they sounded brutal too.
Great choke slam at the end.
I know.
I'll always love the choke slams, and the Giant used to do it in WCW, where you pick them up and you hold them and almost kind of like show them off to the crowd, like, look at my strength. I'm picking this guy up like he's nothing, and I'm about to slam him right into the mat. Love that.
Yeah, Talos' chokeslam's always been really nice, and just watching Rush come down like a sack of potatoes
I'm just going to go ahead and say it, though. Not to interrupt you, but look, I think Talos has the best choke slam in the business, in the entire business.
Today or all time?
No.
Okay.
Today.
I was about to say, I was like, I could fucking 100% sit here and debate you all goddamn day on that one.
Yeah, well, you would debate this Undertaker, and I always thought Undertaker's choke slams looked sloppy.
Oh no, I would go Kane or the Giant.
I would go the Giant WCW mid-90s. I love his choke slams. Like, I mean, like, he would just pick you up and he'd hold you there forever. And sometimes he would walk around with you, ass in hand, but if it slammed you down.
Hey, big boy, let me cop a feel on your ass.
Hey, Sid didn't have a terrible choke slam. It could kind of be sloppy at times, but
Yeah,
no.
but just him doing the one-handed.
Scott Hall had the most underrated choke slam because it was a realistic looking choke slam because he fell down with him. I like that.
No, you know who had the best choke slam, and you can't argue with me on this one?
Who?
Hurricane. End of discussion.
Fuck.
End of
That's fucking worse. It's like delivering a fucking choke slam to fucking Yokozuna or something. It's not gonna fucking happen. All right. Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. I loved it when he would go for the choke slam and the opponent would just look at him like, really, dude? You're about to get jacked.
2002 Royal Rumble. Tries to go for the double choke slam on Stone Cold and the Triple H, and they just go, fuck you, and toss him out.
Yeah. Yes. It's great.
But Talos and Daisy Kill pick up the win, and we shall see what comes of Daisy Kill and Talos next.
In Dothan.
We don't know what's happening in Dothan. Stop fantasy booking this shit.
Dothan.
Oh my God.
Everybody's getting on the card in Dothan. You'll see.
Why do I put up with you sometimes?
I don't know.
The same fucking question can be asked for me. Oh.
Alrighty. Sorry.
Promo number 2. Tom Latimer. You know, this has been a rivalry that's been going on for a little bit of time. And you know what? I like Tom Latimer and Brian Idol going at it.
Yeah, they go together very well, don't they?
They do mesh very well.
Yeah, they're like similar body style. Like, obviously, Tom's a little bit, more jacked, but like they just like the height and everything, like they just go really well together. Peanut butter and jelly.
Preparation H and hemorrhoids.
Whoa. Yeah, that's another one, I guess you could say.
Man, it works. When one's flaring, the other one's soothing.
Me and you. Look at that. All right, sorry. Let's get back.
Christ. Tom Latimer talks about how Brian Idol is wasting his time looking to do away with Brian Idol after tonight and move back onto the quest of trying to gain the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship.
Without his wife, Camille.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic, but you know what? I think Tom will thrive no matter what.
Well, you got, I do know in Dothan, James Mitchell are going to be making an appearance, and I was just thinking about like what is next for him. Like we need a strong heel stable to go after EC3. Wouldn't it be cool if since he just lost Camille, that he were to form somebody to have his back? I don't know. That again, I'm fantasy booking. My bad. I'm bad about it this week. Shit. There's just so much potential. And I've been seeing on Powerr every week. It's like, man, you could go so many different ways. So I'm anxious to see what happens with the next set of tapings.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here pondering, who could you have though?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like everyone's doing something, and it's like,
I mean, you can see the Southern Six that could go after EC3.
Plus, here's the thing: I don't believe that Tom needs anybody in his corner in order to help him. I think Tom is more than fucking capable of doing this on his own with no issue.
Which he proved in a very, very fun little match that he had.
Yeah. So let's just move right into it. The main event, Tom Latimer versus Brian Idol in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Brian Idol getting spit on and then just goes right off, dumping Tom onto the floor and then dropping Tom right on the barricade nuts first.
Ow.
Ow!
Yeah, that's going to hurt in the morning.
This is where I giggled. Brian sitting there, Brian was trying to pull the steel steps and was just struggling. But for the first couple of pulls, and then he got it. And basically just took too long, and Tom caught him, threw a chair right in his face. And then
nasty street fight.
Yeah, Tom catching a little bit of comeuppance, tried to Irish whip Brian right into the steel steps, and went for a nice little ride himself. Tom then slams Brian right into the rails, which they missed. Clearly, because Brian's like legs hit the rail and he's like, "Oh, my stomach." Bro, I didn't even fucking touch your stomach. But they get up to the bar and I'm like, what are they gonna do? And then it cuts to black and you hear, oh, they're waterboarding him. I was like, oh.
That's what I was like,
took me out for like a minute and a half, and I was like, fuck. I would have giggled to laugh. I would have giggled to watch that.
I was just, well, watching it in real time, I was like, oh, God. It's kind of an eye-rolling moment, but it was, it's campy. It's wrestling. Wrestling's meant to be campy, so I didn't take it.
But waterboarding. How often are you going to hear, hey, I watched a wrestling match where the one participant got waterboarded?
Well, it happened on this broadcast of Powerr.
It felt weird just to repeat that sentence.
Yeah.
But Brian ends up tossing Tom off the guardrail to the floor. And then Brian decides he wants to go flying. Flying Brian. Mm-hmm. Second Brian Pillman reference of the night. And then we play fucking loop-de-loop before we finally get to see the action when they make their way to the stage. That part kind of annoyed me. It's like, it's an Anywhere Falls Count. Why do we not have cameras all over the place?
Yeah. Well, I knew when they got on the stage that this was going to be the beginning of the end. I had a feeling.
Oh, God, yeah. And what the hell was it? Tom carrying Brian all the way up there, and then, or no, excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself. The suplex on the mat up on the stage, it looked like it hurt Tom more than it hurt Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom got up. He's just like,
Yeah, that was brutal. Boy, those chair shots. God dang. Jesus, towards the end of the match. It's brutal.
Yeah, and then
the end, the very end. Go ahead.
Well, the unprettier on the stage as well, and then leading to the super kicks where that was the teaser of like, is he going to go flying off the stage?
Oh, yeah, the crowd.
And then using Scott Wheeler. That was the perfect way.
Yeah, great way to end the match. Great way to book that. It was a good finish. It looked like he had kind of like knocked the referee. I thought he'd hurt the referee, but then he caught him, and then you saw what was supposed to be the finish, and it was just a brutal shot there with the chair. But excellent match. I thought it was entertaining, and there was spots in it I thought were silly and kind of stupid and unnecessary. But there is an audience that likes that kind of like over the top campiness and stuff. And I for the most part, I liked the match, and I don't usually like these type of matchups, but it wasn't just like a bloodbath and just kind of like, EC3's match with Matt Cardona, it wasn't anything like that. I thought it had a very clever finish, which still, I don't know. The finish was very clever. I enjoyed, and it ended the episode very well. Like, man, this is the kind of like main events you're going to get some just off the wall crazy shit. I want to also, I didn't mention it earlier in the broadcast, but I love the fact that I love that setting. I love the arena and I love the bar and all that stuff. It just looks so different from anything we're used to seeing. Do you see WWE in like a bar setting? No. Do you? And when WWE did do stuff like that, I thought it was really, really fucking cool. Yeah, they could go to a 10,000 seat arena and sell it out, but just aesthetically the audience at home, we want to see, something different every once in a while. Like today, the Australia show, the Elimination Chamber. I thought it was the coolest shit that it was outside. You saw the sun setting. It just gave it a different dynamic, and that's what you got with the tapings here. I think Kara wasn't as big a fan of them, but because of there wasn't a ton of outlets. But still, to the TV audience, the television audience, it was cool to see them get out of the TV studios, and this I thought was an excellent way to end your tapings here. Or no, I guess they got another week, but
yeah, they still got next week.
Yeah.
Which the matchups on that one,
mouth watering.
Yeah, I would say the women's tag is probably the one I'm going to be the most interested in.
Such a good match when they faced each other. Probably a couple of months ago now.
Yeah, when you went.
Yep. Well, and then it aired totally different time than when I went though. But yeah, excellent match, man. And that's going to be a great match next week.
Yeah, that's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most because it's like I wanted to see these four women wrestle again, and now I have the opportunity, and with a bit more of a lively crowd than the TV studio crowd.
Yes, I love it,
and I'm interested to see how the Tampa taping goes. I don't know if you know about this one.
Yeah, I saw that. No, wait. The Tampa taping?
Yeah, they're gonna be. Here, let me fucking look it up before I.
CCW arena. Wasn't that on the Tampa taping that we just watched?
Hold the fucking phone. Let me. No, I don't want to.
Or was that Soda? God, I get mixed up sometimes.
That was Sarasota. That was in. Yep. TV tapings in Tampa, Saturday, April 13th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, that just really, really soon, like a day or two ago, I think.
At WEDU PBS Studio.
Yes. Yep, I saw that. And then you got Dauphin coming up, of course. And, well, there's a rumor that they could be coming back to Atlanta pretty soon. It's just a rumor. I'm excited about that because I'll be able to go to that.
And be able to go to that.
Sorry. Hey.
What?
Let's just say this. If NWA 75 comes around here, we've talked about it last week, I do believe.
76.
76. Sorry, 75 was last year. Look, you're being flown in, and we'll have accommodations for you.
Well, let's hold off on those thoughts because depending on apparently I'm being forced into some plans possibly August 9th through the 11th. And if it is what I think it is, I'm 100% going to be too fucking broke for that. Let's see here. The possibility of seeing my favorite band of all time for 2 nights.
Who? Oh, Metallica?
Yeah. That's a possibility. I don't know. I have to get more details. But
that's in a lifetime, one of those things you remember the rest of your life.
Yeah. And especially, being a big metalhead and growing up on Metallica. And
yeah.
It's kind of one of those things. It's like,
Well, when 76 is exactly. So.
Well, hey, you know what? If we're still doing this around that time next year, I can always go to NWA 77.
We will, or we'll have replacements for us, and then we'll just control them like puppets.
Listen here, my
There
monkey.
I go, talking about my inner thoughts again.
You and your fucking mind, I tell you, dude.
It never stops.
I feel that.
Well, it's time for me to go upstairs and eat my delicious Mexican dish that I just made. Or I just threw in the oven, basically. But
Yep, it is about that time. So
yeah, the kids don't have to know that though.
it's fine.
Been slaving over this while I was doing a podcast. All right. I'm sorry. Tuesday night we will record, and maybe we'll bring some people on. I kind of miss doing that a little bit. And
I'm gonna hold you to it on Tuesday.
Tuesday night, I'm gonna hold you to it too, buddy. We'll
I promise I won't get into a yelling match. I promise I won't do stupid shit.
Well, I promise I won't be like, oh, work held me over. Fuck work.
Or sorry, I went out to dinner and then I thought about possibly doing some
and then I shit the bowl and I went to bed.
Yeah, instead of possibly doing some adult calisthenics.
Oh, that too, yeah. So whoopee for me.
All right.
Whoopee for that other person. Okay, all right.
Jesus. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this dumpster fire of a podcast where I can't speak English and Trey fucking has too many goddamn inner thoughts protruding. We will hopefully see you or hear us next Tuesday. Fucking Christ almighty. You know what? Have a good night, fuckers.
We're bringing Logan Frazier and Katie Rose on to replace both me and Knighton because we're terrible.
Fucking
all right.
If nobody says, hey, you guys need to just not for a week, I will be shocked and appalled.
What if Kara and Katie Rose did a podcast one week together and we just listened? Wow. Mind blown. It'd be the Hour of Power Women podcast. What do you think? You don't hate it. Come on.
No, I don't. I could actually go for that, not gonna lie.
Yeah, they're not gonna they wouldn't fuck up like us. So if you're listening, women, it's time for y'all to step it up and show us men how it's done. And that's all I got to say.
All right, well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Woo!
Ciao!